Doesn't it remind you of bullying when you were a kid?
I was bullied for nearly 20 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So does it trigger something in you?
It does. But now I look at it differently though. Because when I was insecure, fat kid, 255 pounds at the age of 12, I had no confidence. But now I have confidence to defend those. And when I was getting bullied as a kid, it was in person. Mm-hmm. Now you got people from Muscle Thumb Mafia doing this.
Muscle Thumb Mafia?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I heard Keyboard Warriors.
Yeah, no, this is Muscle Thumb Mafia right here. That's all they doing. And now they'll say it with this, but let me see them in person.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you ever want to call them out though? Like just look at their profile and be like, yo, bro.
I've done that a few times. I've done that a few times, but I realized that it can waste a lot of time and a lot of energy.
That too. I was going to ask about that. When I was just talking to somebody about, doing marketing and social media and the evolution that we've kind of been going through.
Yeah.
And I finally found myself saying authentically, bro, I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. It's too much time wasted when you could be putting that into somebody else for positivity.
And you know what though? I'm also getting a lot better jumping in the comments because sometimes I want to plug my 2 cents in there,
Yeah.
And it's like I get halfway through a sentence and I'm like, man, it's not even worth your spit. It's not even worth it. So, you know.
And I've done that a few times, right? But it's almost like they want that, right? They want that notoriety real fast. Like, ooh, they're paying attention to me. Yeah. But then it's also good to have those haters on the side because at least you're doing something right. When you're in a negative mentality, a negative mindset, a negative lifestyle, and all you do is complain, be complacent, and be comfortable, there's so many other people around you in that same type of lifestyle that they won't even talk about what you're doing. They just complain right with you. But when you're that 5%er who wants to help other people and make an impact and give more positive, you will get some of those from the 95% club.
I just thought of something for you, bro.
What you got, brother?
So, getting picked on as a kid.
Yes.
You can reply back with, who hurt you, bro?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Are you okay, baby boy?
Are you okay? Want some milk?
Yeah.
But who hurt you, bro?
Yeah.
Because all you're doing is just bringing it down. I mean, that's all they're doing is just trying to bring everybody else down.
Yeah.
Or trying to, maybe they feel like they're trying to expose something. Because, we see things like the Liver King. Like that guy got hammered on the juice, right? Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, I do have friends that are professional bodybuilders that they do take TRT. Like I said, I've done TRT myself.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, me personally. I think if you're going to go into a competitive sport where you want to have all things equal, that's a little different, right? Either you don't test or test. If you're going to test, then you don't do.
Yeah.
But if you're using it for pure aesthetics and that's what you're going to do, who is to say anything about anything like that, especially when you have things, and not to make any women upset. Yeah. Okay. But there's a lot of plastic that gets involved in the world today, whether it be injections, botulism, with right. With getting, make your face numb and do what it does.
Yeah.
Or surgical enhancements, right? Because at the end of the day, you're making somebody feel better. They're just you're improving them. But I think in your level of improvement, though, it's completely different. I mean, you're going down to the core. You're not even going to the core. You're going to the core root cause of what's making you feel bad, and changing the mindset of that negative self-talk.
Yep.
And telling them a path to get out of that darkness.
Right.
That's completely different than what I hear from a lot of folks.
Yeah. It's literally is taking that mentality. That's where it all starts. You can't start from the end and just say, here's the results that you get. No, you got to start from the mindset and say, okay, where's the pain at? Right? I've been going through 20 years of this, or I feel insecure in front of my significant other, or I have low self-esteem, whatever it is. And then you say, okay, what are the habits that you're living with? What are the habits that we need to change? And then once you change those habits, these habits now become a better lifestyle and is different from the past that you've dealt with for years. And so as they continue to go through that day by day and they realize that they're stacking more wins than losses now, they start to feel better. And I always tell them the best thing that's going to happen to you along this journey is you will get people who will doubt you and distract you. That's a good thing. And they're like, really?
That means you're changing.
That means you're changing. And you're changing for you, not for them.
Yeah.
So whether it's money, whether it's body, whether it's buying different cars because you're finally able to level up on the financial game. on the credit game, you're able to do something that a lot of people can't.
How do you get somebody to get over the feeling of not feeling worthy?
That's a great question. So if they're not feeling worthy, sometimes what happens is they're in a very low frequency state by the food, by the vices that they continue to have on a daily basis. When you start to feed yourself physically with negative food, junk food, fast food, you think negatively because your body is in a very low frequency or a very poor state. So you tend to have more negative self-talk, negative action because you don't feel good. So what you got to do is change the mentality. It goes back to that. And then you start to change the habits, start taking in the good, nutritious foods, start feeding your body with good foods, and it's going to reward you with love. Now your frequency goes up. You talk better about yourself. You feel better about yourself. Your habits start to change. And it's all about execution and being grateful for the change that you're making. You can't talk yourself out of it and say, I'm not, I'm worthy now. I'm worthy now. You have to execute.
Right. I watched a therapist video the other day and gives solid advice. And one of the things she said recently, she says, in my first meeting with someone, if they're feeling depressed or feeling down, I tell them, you need to sign up and go to the gym.
Yeah.
And she goes, at the end of the week, when they check in to set their next appointment up, I ask them if they actually went to the gym. And if they don't even bother going, I won't see them again.
Yes.
I was like, well, that's pretty gangster. She's like, if you want me to fix your problem, it starts with fixing yourself first.
Right.
That was her thing. And she goes, especially men. Men, she goes, I don't care. If you can't stop and fix yourself, I can't fix you. There's nothing I can tell you to do to fix you, to change your perception of yourself. And my first thing is that this is what you need to do. And that was... that was real talk.
It is. And it's so true because it's like, that's our outlet. That's our therapy session right there. Right. A lot of people aren't going there and just be like, I want to get the biggest biceps. I want to get the biggest legs. It's therapy session for a lot of us because instead of drinking and doing all the stuff that causes regret, we want to do something that's going to give us rewards. So if we're able to build our bodies up and feel better once we leave that door and we do that every day, there's no regret in that.
You ever listen to Dr. Huberman?
I've heard him once in a while.
Huberman podcast. I love listening to a lot of his. He's a doctor at Stanford, does a lot of clinical studies. One thing that he said that I was listening to, and he said, testosterone is one of these things that fills you with dopamine. And the way that it really helps you is that it rewards stress in a specific way, strenuous activity. So not stress of anxiety, but the strenuous activity. So whether it's not even just walking uphill. The subconscious reward from the testosterone. And that's what starts creating that momentum of drive. It's like, you get that movement going. And the more you continue to push in that space, the more your body continues with a little bit more testosterone. Until you get to the point where now your natural testosterone levels are much higher than when you started with nothing as a baseline because you've been pushing yourself through a sense of strenuous activity. And he says a lot of guys that come to them in the clinic that are not getting their gains. They're not getting either more cut or they're not getting larger. He goes, because now especially with cell phones, there's so much distraction while you're at the gym. You're not even really at the gym. You're maybe lifting out for 15 minutes and the other 45, you're sitting there staring at Insta, pausing, replying, doing whatever, and you're not really done. And I thought that was really interesting that if you're going to do it with intention. And your body will biologically reward you for it in more ways than one.
And it's going to be a challenge. It's easy to sit on a weight bench machine and text somebody back or scroll and swipe and look at other people's lives. But why is it so hard for somebody to focus on their own life during that time? You have an hour or more, whatever time you choose to dedicate to yourself, and you're still giving it to everybody else, thinking that you're going to get a good result. You can't do that. It's physically impossible and it's mentally impossible. Right? So when you are going in the gym and you push yourself more and more each day, that's the resistance that you're putting out, but that's the strength that you're also gaining mentally and physically. You're like, if I was able to push this, what else can I push? But if you're sitting there swiping all day and scrolling all day, you walk out, you're like, okay, I'm done. But you're not done. You didn't even start. Right? So you got to continue to push through that resistance.
The attendance alone doesn't check off the box that you went to the gym.
No. And the people at the fitness centers, the president, the owner, whoever invested in that, they over there making money smiling because they're like, well, I got 150 people that signed up and only 10 people are literally putting in the work. Cool. I'll just keep collecting a paycheck. Thank you.
So what would you do as far as getting somebody started? So let's say day one, they start working with you and you got to put them on some sort of fitness routine.
Yeah.
How do you build a platform or a program for them to just get moving?
Yeah. So I love hearing people's stories. So when I talk to people one-on-one on Zoom, I always like to find out their story, right? Where are they at now? Where do they want to be? Mm-hmm. Right. And so when I customize their program, it's not just a workout program. This is a lifestyle program. So I make sure that I give you the right amount of nutrition, no boring restrictive diets. I want to make sure that you're enjoying the food that you eat as long as you're nourishing your body. Mm-hmm. The only restrictions that I give people are time and numbers, right? There's no like, oh, you can't have that. You can't eat this. I don't want to tell people what they can't do. But I do want to say, here's some restrictions that I want you to follow. And then this way you have an open source of what you want to be able to feed yourself. But I'm also going to make sure that you have a meal plan. I'm a customizer for you, a shopping list. Mm-hmm. And this way you know exactly what to have without all the guesswork. Mm-hmm. The next thing is that I want you to look at your phone or look at your iPad or look at your laptop and say, okay, what am I going to do today? Oh, he customized this for me. So I'm working out at home 3 days a week and I go 2 days at the gym. So I have my whole calendar built out for me. And every time I look down at my iPad or my phone, I'm able to see exactly what I'm going to do today without the guesswork.
Yeah.
So the stress of guessing and knowing what to do next is removed, right? And so then you have somebody who's taken nearly 20 years of experience to check in with you on a weekly basis and set your goals for you. So let's say if you're like, day one, here's my current situation. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I want to get. Okay, here's everything that I've set up for you, customized for you, and built for you. Now you're going to go ahead and execute and come back to me every Monday. I'm not going to go out to you because I've already done my job. Now you got to do your job.
Got it.
Right? And so I'll walk with you every step of the way until you conquer your ultimate goal.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it's really very encompassing.
But it's simple.
Yeah.
It's super simple. Right? It's nothing hard. It's just a matter of saying, I need to change my life. There's a lot of people that say, I'm sick and tired of feeling like a loser every day.
You know, it's funny that you say that. I think people need to remind themselves more often of that. Because, you know, I know for myself after I got my car accident, I hate the feeling, number one. So as I'm on the phone with the attorney and he's like, hey, bro, how did this affect you? And I'm like, dude, if I put my hand on the steering wheel, my back hurts.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it.
Yep.
And I said, I can't even, when I go to the gym, if I'm on the bike, just putting pressure on shoulders, I'm like, it pinches. If I get in the row machine, it pinches. Yeah. If I get bent over rows, it pinches.
Right.
Anything that, and your back is like almost everything.
It is.
Pull-ups, it pinches. Because, you know, your lower back, I maxed up my lower back too.
Yeah.
So now I got the middle back to be messing with.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're killing me.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, good. Because, you know, when we go to not to trial, I guess when they go to talk to the other attorneys from the insurance, the mediation.
Yeah.
I said, look, $1,000 a pound, bro, because I can't go to the gym. I'm eating good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do what I got to do. And this is really, really irritating for me.
Right.
And he said, bro, this is perfect. And I said, you can talk to anyone of my trainers. Mm-hmm. And I hate the fact that, and I've gone to the gym before when I've had different types of ailments. Yeah. Tendonitis. My forearms, I would get tendonitis, you know, and that's different. And I get that. Or you get sciatica. Yes. Oh, man, dude, I had that pop the other day. Woo.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You got to be careful because then you just, the hobbling, right? And you still try and push it through. And I had training this past weekend. So I'm like, man, but there's a lot of other things that you can be doing to work out. But when you said that, I'm tired. I'm sick and tired, and I hate this. Mm-hmm. I think people need to start repeating that more often.
Yeah.
Like to themselves. Just like look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm sick and tired of the way I feel right now. Mm-hmm. I've had enough. And go for a walk.
Yeah. And execute. Mm-hmm. Right. And once you come back from that execution, the hardest step is taking the first one.
Yeah.
But once you're out there and you're in the motion, you're in the mood, you're going, you start to feel better.
How does someone like myself then, because I know this is something else that I've seen that's pretty true.
Yeah.
And you know, not to like give away my age, I'm like a couple months away from 50, so it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. But you know, how does someone though that does have pre-existing ailments, because I'm sure a lot of people do have that.
Yeah.
You get to the point where they either, you know, marginal diabetes or, you know, things like that, where their back hurts or different ailments. How does someone start doing something that enables them to get into fitness? Like, where should they begin?
Well, it all starts mental, going back to that, right? And so when I hear their story, like you've been in a car accident, right? Okay, what are some things that you can't do at the moment? You may say, I can't do this workout, I can't do this, I can't do that, right? Just keeping it very high level. But we all know that we control what we put in our mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you could start with that and you say, you know what? My knees are bad, I can't walk, but I could do elliptical or I can swim.
Yeah.
If there's alternative routes that you can take, start with that, because at least you're starting now.
Yeah.
But if you keep living and saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're right. You can't, because you keep telling yourself what you can't do.
Yeah.
But everybody can do this, right? No matter what food preference you have, you can still control what you put in your mouth and what you put in your mind. So then that's where we start from there. And then from there, we just keep going and going and going until you can say, hey, you know what? I think I could take this next step now because I'm starting to feel better. I've alleviated 50 pounds off of my body, which is 200 pounds off of my knees, because every pound that you gain is 4 pounds on your knees of pressure.
Oh, wow.
So I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to look better. What's next for me? And once you realize that and you start to feel that, you don't want to go back to that old you. But it all starts here first. That's why I love to hear people's story of where they're at now. And then I want to get them from where they want to where they want to be, because I remember when I started at day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people, I think, when they do that, I know that it's hard for individuals to find the motivation that it takes for them to do that. But it also sounds like, and I know having a discussion with you, it is not to do it for other people. Like, just because you want to be more attractive to your spouse, but in reality, you need to be more attractive. You need to be your best version of yourself.
That's where it starts with you.
With internally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It starts with you first. And then from there, you want to be able to say those are the closest to you, like my wife and my daughter. Right. We want to be that healthy mother and father, that fit mother and father who's out in public. Right. And it's not something that says, look at us, we're the fit parents. It's not that. It's like, hey, we're committed, we're disciplined, and we're we're a living example for our daughter. And we're leading by example with action, not speaking.
Right.
Right. So then our daughter gets to see that, and she's like, mommy and daddy are eating good. Mommy and daddy are going to the gym. Now my daughter's flexing, and she's got a little muscle because she emulates what mommy and daddy does.
They say that kids actually will emulate not even what the father is, what the mother does. That if there's I think it's like 70-30 in the home. So like 70% of the time, if the wife is the one working out, because you have a husband and wife, the kids will emulate the mom versus the dad.
That's totally fine.
So you can have the dad super buff and my dad.
Yeah.
I can have my dad's yoked. But when your mom is doing it, it for whatever reason, and I haven't looked into this deeper, but for whatever reason, it actually affects the kids a lot more on their outlook of health and fitness.
Well, shoot, if that's the case, my daughter gonna be good, because her mommy, my wife, is fine and she's fit, right? So by looking at her mommy, she gets to see that and emulate that. And the other thing too is this, and of course we're talking about the mommies, this goes for mommies, but us as dads, this is something that I came up with the other day, not too long ago. I was speaking with this guy on a phone call, and he's a little overweight. And he has a daughter who is the same age as my niece. I think she's like 6. And I'm telling you, this hit quite a few dads when I said this. And this is to all the dads out there. And I really want you guys to pay attention and listen. To the dads that are fathers to their daughters, you are your girl's first love. You are your girl's first example of what a man should be. If you're walking around the house fat, overweight, complaining, drunk, high, telling your daughter to go fetch you beers, having your daughter do things that really, like, that's not a good example. Fetching me beers. Hey, go get me another cold one, babe. Right? You're instilling this into your daughter when she brings a dude home later in life and you're like, why did you bring that home? Well, I'm just replicating what I saw growing up.
Wow. That's deep.
So I want my daughter to find someone.
So essentially what you're saying is your personal health and fitness goes above and beyond.
Mindset too. Yeah, it does. It's not just about, ooh, look at me, I have this. It's like, no, we have kids. Right. And if I want my daughter to bring home someone who's going to be part of the family, I don't want someone, dropping all around like, hey, yeah, we good. Go get me a beer, babe. Hey, we're going to go out and drink. We're going to go get high. We're going to forget all that.
Right.
That's not what daddy taught her.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to be that best version for them, because eventually we're not going to be that first love, because her husband is going to be their first.
Yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
Well, okay, let me go back. We'll still be their love.
We'll still be their love. Yeah,
but they're going to have their husband, and they're going to say, I want my husband to be like.
Yeah, no, that is true though. That I think, and I think a big piece of that is also the level of being present and coherent.
Of course,
that's a very big thing. I've noticed myself now over the last year and a half, getting a little bit more fuzzy brained at times.
Yeah,
I'm also noticing how much more sensitive I am to things like bread.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Yeah,
and so, but definitely being much more present. So. Seeing how my interactions are with my kids does make a big difference.
Of course.
Yeah.
Based on what you're feeding yourself.
And it's kind of strange. I was telling my daughter this. I said, it's really strange for me to start comprehending this at the life cycle I am at currently, and had not understood that 15 or 20 years ago when I was 30.
Yeah.
Right. To maintain that till now, because that's 20 years of good habit.
Yeah.
I could have been maintaining and sustaining that could have provided them a better life.
Yeah. But what you know now, you could continue to teach forward.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is actually really good, because I think another big piece of it though is, and this is something that someone taught me, was give myself grace. Not grace in a way where like, bro, it's all good, and you're trying your best, but like, good that you now acknowledge your shortcomings.
Yep.
And congratulations for making the choice to make the change.
Yeah, for sure.
Different.
Right.
So when I explained to my daughter and I apologized, hey, I didn't know better. And she's like, Dad, like when I was really, really tight and hard.
Yeah.
She didn't like laying on me on the couch. She was like, I don't like it. You feel like a rock. And,
I remember.
And I was like, no, but whatever. And now she cooks cookies she sabotaged me, bro. She sabotaged me. I swear to God, dude, she's making me cookies all the freaking time. And she knows I'm soft on that too. Yeah. And especially coming from her, Dad, look what I made you.
Yeah.
I'm like, baby, stop making me cookies. So now I'm saving like these IG posts of like healthy cookies.
Yeah.
So I'm like sending it to her. She just texted me a little while ago. She's all, no.
Yeah.
But it's okay though, because I think now we're open enough, in our dialogue. She knows and she respects the fact of where daddy wants to be, and daddy wants to be a better dad.
Yeah.
And that being a little bit more humble, right, was another thing of swallowing the ego and swallowing the pride.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying, babes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a better dad. I'm trying. And I think that in itself, that mental shift has gotten me more respect as a father.
Good.
But now I definitely have to follow through.
Yeah.
Like I have to follow through, because I just can't be practicing or preaching. I got to practice now what I preach. So I was thinking today, because after we finish recording today, I'm going back to the gym, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try and hit some laps.
Yeah.
I'm going to just, laps in the pool.
Yep.
I'm a little concerned just because of the shoulder movement, but it's all good. I think if I try to work myself through it, the treadmill's not going to hurt me. I can go for my walk.
Yeah.
Like, and you're right, making those little excuses, because it makes it real hard for a man like myself trying to defend you when you're over here, getting the words in.
Yeah.
Stop it on my boy. And then they're like, bro, you look like Chub Rock. What are you doing? What are you stepping in for?
Yeah.
So, but back again, I need to continue personally stepping up the game.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine, bro. Oh, this guy's an animal now.
Yeah.
He's been tracking on his calendar how many days in a row he's been working out. He's at like day 900, bro.
That's fun. Dang.
He's not missed a single day.
He doesn't miss.
Doesn't miss. Dan, so when you're watching this, Dan, props to you, bro.
Yeah.
But here's what's crazy. So has a bad knee, has bad shoulders, both knees, got to get surgery nonstop, always getting hurt all the time.
Yeah.
But he also does jujitsu.
Uh-huh.
So 3 years ago, wasn't doing any competitions, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
But because his madman has been training every single day, nonstop, every day. He's like, bro, I'm hard as a rock right now.
Yeah.
So now when he goes and rolls into jiu-jitsu, he's like twisting animals up. So first year, he's like, man, I got me some silvers, got a couple golds, got a couple things just for like the, you know, the amateur level, right?
Yeah.
Next year, he goes like 36 medals. I'm like, damn, son.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but that was 2 years of nonstop. That's 600 workouts.
Yep.
Nonstop, intentional.
Right.
Fast forward another year, 900 plus workouts, nonstop, intentional.
Yep.
And I'm like, bro, I don't even want to get on the mat with you, dude. That's, like,
that's a whole nother level.
That's a whole nother level.
All right.
But I think what it boils down to also is how bad somebody really wants it, and then the mental fortitude to continue to sustain it.
Yeah. No matter what.
No matter what.
Come your way.
No matter what.
Right.
So it's great to see guys like you, guys like that, and then get the confirmation when I'm listening to the doctors and the professionals that are doing the research on things and how it changes your body's biostructure.
Yeah.
And the mental states and your mental awareness. It's just a continuous compounding effect.
Yeah.
Back to the train theory.
Yep. Yeah. Right. That we spoke in part 1.
Yep.
Yeah. And to touch on that, so I want to tie two things in together with you. One thing that you were saying is that, you know, especially with you being in the mortgage industry, the financial loan game, one thing that's very, very vital, and it's something that you said earlier, you're talking about how, you know, you look back 20 years ago and you've learned a lot from that, right? You know, you want to give yourself grace, but it's like, if I can go back and change it, then yeah. But your daughter and your son are going to benefit not from what you teach them, but also from the mistakes that you share with them.
Yeah, it's true.
So on the financial credit game, one of the things that I'm so grateful for is that I learned something from my oldest brother, Marlo. We're talking about credit in the financial game. So we're going to kind of pivot a little bit from the nutrition and weight loss and workouts. But one of the best things is he said, you always want to make sure that your credit is on point. Your looks are going to fade one day. Yeah. Your body is going to fade, but you want to make sure that your credit is good. You want to make sure that you have money invested, put aside, saved up, right? Because I used to just spend my money, and my credit score was a 538 back in the time. And so over the course of time, taking that advice from him and taking on that responsibility and stop blaming other people and start taking responsibility for myself, and also making sure that my wife, her credit is on point. Yeah. Very responsible woman, right? When it comes to the financials, the body, the nutrition. So we're like-minded in that aspect. And so last week, as I checked my credit score, it's, you know, I've checked it a few times, obviously, for personal and business credit, but my credit score is now at 845. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, what would it be like to see an 850? Yeah. Right. But it's like
being 4% body fat.
But it's
not many folks walking around the streets with 4% body fat. Right. Just saying.
Right. But
show off.
No. And see, that's the thing though, but it's the habits. It goes back to the habits.
Well, let me share with you something really important then. And this is actually a very smart, I'm actually glad you brought this up because this is a duality. We did not practice this conversation ahead of time. Yeah. This is going to sound a little strange. So there's a lot of people in life that will go and get liposuction. Right? Or they'll go get the band for their stomach. Okay? It's great. It's a short-term fix. That, to my world, is the equivalent of filing a bankruptcy. Okay. The reason being is because a bankruptcy cleans the whole slate. Right. However, there's one big thing missing out of that, which is the change in the behavior.
Yeah. Right.
That's the key piece. Right. So I've seen people like, and I've witnessed it, and I see the same exact habit. I see the exact same level of discipline. If you're disciplined enough to go to the gym regularly, or you're disciplined enough to eat the things you need to eat, then you're disciplined enough to maintain your, not just credit, your debt load. Yeah. The things you spend money on. Right. The choices in which you make. Very similar. It's the exact same. Yeah. When I see people making credit decisions or financial decisions.
Yeah.
And if they take shortcuts, then I can tell you probably in the gym, they're taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
Right.
The habits.
It's just, it goes exactly hand in hand.
Yeah. Yep. And see, it's the habits that we've instilled. So we're working on ourselves on a daily basis, mindset and body. So now we're working on our daily habits when it comes to credit, checking it, making sure we're on point, making sure we're not going way above and beyond, making sure we're not doing stuff, buying junk.
Yeah. Now let me put this in correlation with finance and fitness. So this is what you would call a baseline. So in my situation, I don't drink at all. I don't smoke. I'm good. Okay. I don't even eat refined sugars. It may be in my food if it's pasta or bread. Other than that, you'll never ever see me get a spoonful of sugar ever. Yeah. Honey's about the farthest I go with my teas. Okay. That baseline is just like with you maintaining a credit score.
Yeah.
Okay. That's only part of it though. The other part of it is every dollar is a soldier and every dollar needs to go to work. Okay. So that's now putting in the gym time. That's now putting every rep you put out is like putting $1 to work.
Yeah.
That's now investing into it. Right. And so you can be like, my mom is a great example. She eats very healthy. Yeah. She doesn't drink. She's, but she's always had a really hard time losing weight. Yeah. And I'm like, well, Mom, you're not putting enough strenuous activity in there to start dropping down. And she's like, yeah, I know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's okay. However, that same mindset is the same as somebody putting money in a savings account and never putting it to work. Same.
Yeah. Yep. It's just there.
It's just there.
Yeah.
You're doing all the right things of paying your bills on time. You're doing the right things of creating the baseline. Yeah. You're not really going backwards.
Right.
You're not hurting you.
Yeah.
But you're just
maintaining. Yeah.
Right. And so that's a great analogy for me to think about, because as I'm looking to do my multi-unit builds and I'm looking how to redeploy the soldiers to get to work. Yeah. That structure of what needs to be done. Yeah. If I take that level of energy, effort, and detail and put it into my workout routine, oh son. Yep. Son, it just clicked to me right now at this moment. I'm like, God damn, if that was as detailed enough as it was with the number of reps, the weight, the date, the time, and took all the key leading measurements of all those things. Yeah. It's no different than any other business plan.
Right. Exactly. Right. But you start with self.
Well, I think I think at some point you just got to take inventory. And that's all it is. Like when we start a transaction for any client in any sort of investment, that's all I'm doing. I'm just taking inventory. Right. Pay stubs, W-2s, bank statement, tax returns. Let me see what you got.
Right.
Stepping on the scale. Step on the scale. Hey, maybe a little bit overweight, whatever. We can overlook that. Because it doesn't mean that you can't get started. That's another misconception. Like, just because you want to feel like you're powerful enough to either go to a specific gym or whatever, you don't need to. So in order to get in the financing side, you don't have to have things all perfect. You just need to start.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It starts with self. So you start by making sure you have a good job, making sure you're leveling up in your job, making sure that you're continuing to grow. Right?
Surround yourself with people that do all those things.
Right. But it starts with you.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is one thing that I tell people now. I started off by telling my homeboy first, my very good homeboy since high school. Because him and I, we think alike. And I just broke it down in two lines. Your body is your billboard. Your credit is your reputation.
That's good.
Because if you have good credit and you're making your payments on time, it shows that you're disciplined and committed. You do the same thing with your body. It shows you're disciplined and committed. So you're a walking billboard no matter where you go. And when it's time to make certain purchases or level up in the financial game and get in a bigger house or a nicer car or whatever it may be, your credit has to be on point unless you just do all cash, which most people don't have. Yeah. But at least if you're doing those two, it shows.
One thing I love this duality of conversation right now, because like for me, I carry zero debt. I haven't had debt, and I can probably think right now off the top of my head at least 13 years.
Yeah.
I don't know, more than that, probably closer to 15. And just personal choice, just because I've seen what debt does to people.
Yeah.
Just like you've seen what obesity does to people, right? You're like, I'm never going to go back to that spot, right?
Yeah.
And I've been at that spot when I was younger, and I see how it affects people. But also at the same time, I wish there was a little bit more balance in my life. So now what I'm trying to do is play more with the tricks. So like in my world, I have friends that still use credit, but they use credit very smart. My buddy Eric, that was on the podcast not too long ago, has traveled to over 50 countries. I think he's at like 56 countries so far, all on his miles on his card.
Yeah.
So now you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like for me, I'm using debit card for everything. He kind of took it up another notch where he's using his credit card to do all his business expenditures. And then taking all the money that he spends on business expenditures to use it for miles to do his traveling.
Yep. Same.
What would be a good analogy how that would relate in fitness?
Yeah. So what happens is if you're going to use that as far as the fitness game goes, it's being able to say, okay, I'm going to utilize my own body. And it's not more so of like credit versus debit, but it's just more like, how can I invest in more to bring better benefits?
I got it. Body weight calisthenics.
All right, explain.
Because
I was about to say something different, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just hit me right now. Here's why. In a 6x6 piece of bedroom, you can do air squats.
Yeah.
You can do push-ups.
Yeah.
You can do your sit-ups. You can do lunges.
Burpees.
You can do burpees.
Yeah.
A lot can get done in a 6x6 setup.
Yeah.
You don't even have to spend the money, the time on the car, the drive to get distracted, cell phone, unadulterated 45 minutes in a 6x6 box and have it knocked out.
You can. And the other thing too is if you want to stay in a 6x6 box and if you don't want to go to the gym and you want to get outside, just use the earth. I always tell people use the earth as your gym. You could walk, you could do stairs, you can climb up stairs, you could do squats on the stairs. You could see a rock or a platform on the ground and do push-ups. You could do step-ups. Use the earth as your gym. Go find somebody and ask them if you can curl them real quick. I mean, use the earth as your gym.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Get creative with it.
Get creative with it because after you start to do that, when I went to Hawaii with my family, I didn't go to the gym for 6 days, but I just used earth. I was like, hey, we're at the beach. I see some rocks over here. Let me go ahead and hit some push-ups. Let me hit some burpees. Matter of fact, we went down to this little tropical forest in Hawaii, and we were down by the water where it was crashing up against the rocks. And so I started doing burpees, recorded it, had my daughter doing burpees with me.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just we're using the earth, but we're also bonding at the same time. Right. So there's no excuse when it comes to taking care of yourself, whether it's in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle type of environment, or if it's in the financial credit environment. You be able to be creative, surround yourself with those who are like-minded, and continue to grow personally and professionally.
I think you said it right there, bro, is being creative.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Because like I said, I could be very traditional route in the way that I'm dealing with those things. Like I'm not one of those Dave Ramsey folks, right? Because he's very, very conservative on that kind of thing. But and because he's always like, pay off your debt, pay off your bills, blah, 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 right? Which I totally get. But I think at the same time, it's to me, even now, I'm like, man, that's too conservative. You're traveling, son, and you need to be doing these things. And so one of the weird things about him being creative on his expenditures and taking advantage of the miles and things like that and getting that. On top of that, he layers it in with being able to set up his business remote.
Yeah.
Because he does what I do. And so I'm like, say what?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I got the Philippines doing this and I got this doing that. And then this person does this and this automated system does that. And so what it enabled him to do was not only just get creative with his ability to travel, but also get creative in another step of the business because he had a new gap to create, a new gap to fill. So that's kind of strange that you say that. I think in the workout side, the byproduct of the creative that you did with your daughter was time well spent.
Yeah, time well spent using the earth, right? No excuses. And then also being able to walk back up the hill out of breath, but still delivering a message to people to help them and let them know that no matter what, you can still become the best version of you with limited choices or limited options. And going back to your friend about doing the whole business thing, I do the exact same thing. I learned from a good friend of mine named Oscar, who said, make sure your personal credit score is good enough to where you can apply for a business credit. Once you get that business credit, start utilizing that, because your business is remote. Doing it. So when we went to Hawaii, it was business credit card. I used points, flew first class, took my whole family first class, and being able to do that. That's something different that I never thought I'd be able to do. But because of the habits, it's not, look at me, I'm flying first class.
No, but it's the mindset shift.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all it is.
That mindset shift, whether it's your credit or your health and fitness, it literally is the same habits.
Yeah.
Same exact mindset, same exact thought process.
Yes. It's all it is.
It's all it is.
It's nothing to show off. It's just saying, hey, if I could do this coming from where I came from, all the stuff that my back was up against the wall with, and I still was able to push through that and not hide from it or run away or blame everybody else. I'm tired of doing all that. Yeah. The only person that's going to change has to be me, not everybody else.
That's right.
And so
nobody's coming to save you.
No. And the fact that I was able to do most of this already so far, it's like, now that it's been done, I feel confident. That's where the confidence comes from, is being able to master something, learn from the past, and say, here's what I was able to do. Now I'm going to help you do it. That's where the confidence comes from, is instilling it in others so they can go make an impact on somebody else. That's all it is. So if we can apply those habits financially, mentally, physically, making sure that we're giving our body what it needs and our mind what it needs, we will win so much in life. We'll take the distractions on, the haters that are posting on our social media, but we'll just keep on moving because we know what it's like on the flip side.
That point well made.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, I want to go share this to the world. It's so cool to talk about this, especially when you lived it. Yeah. Right. And
you see the world from a different perspective now.
Yeah. Because it's the world that I want to live in.
A big piece of that, and from what it sounds like, is really getting out of a victim mentality.
Yep. It is. Because victim's mentality, you're going to stay there until you make the decision to get out of it. I was a victim for way too long and kept blaming everybody else. I was tired of blaming everybody else.
Yeah. I heard a quote one day. It's like, be your best hero.
Yeah, but you're going to have some tragedy along with it.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you look at any superhero, you look at Spider-Man.
Yeah.
His first outfit wasn't the greatest, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had to evolve into that. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
Superman, you look at his evolution. Yeah. He wasn't that great when he was a teenager. His dad died, right? So all these different little things. Batman, same thing.
Yeah.
But you see even the greatest of superheroes go through evolutions to become who they are.
Yep.
Iron Man.
Yep.
You see them go through evolutions, and it's okay to reinvent yourself. It's a good thing to reinvent yourself.
It's the best thing.
You don't have to wait till the first of the new year to make the choice to reinvent yourself.
Right.
It's literally look in the mirror, stare at your face, and say, I'm tired of the way life is.
Yeah.
Fuck this. I'm making a change.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it. That's all you got to do. And stop asking, how long will it take? How quick will it take? How fast will it? What's the best way? What's the quickest way? Forget all that.
Just do it.
Just go moment by moment and day by day.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you're going to develop these habits that are going to be so life-changing that you're going to look back and go, man, I feel so much better because this is the way I now live.
That's amazing, bro.
It is.
You inspired me right now. I got to go hit the gym.
Go do it. Let's get it, brother. Thank you so much, man.
If I hurt, I'm going to text you.
All right, cool. That'll work.
Ice bath. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.